occurred anywhere in the world, because our poverty line is calculated by just the amount of money required for buying food, and that is not the only one which you require. So I would say, if you look at internationally, our poverty line is the most austerely defined poverty line. If even that poverty line, 240 million, which is only 60 million less than our population in 1947, if they are going to be poor, then you have a real problem there in terms of overcoming the hunger. So the situation in India today is the midterm appraisal of the 10th five-year plan, the 10th plan, reveals that we are lagging behind achieving the UN Millennium Development Goal of halving hunger by 2015. And India today, as one single nation, is the home of the largest number of malnourished people in the world, as a single nation. Because normally we think it's African countries and so on. But purely in numbers, last year if you read the situation of children in the world, UNICEF's point, nearly 55 million children. Again, we find very large, the most malnourished children. I think all of you in this institute, I am appealing to the young people, it's not a very happy situation to be in. I think because it can be remedied. This is what I want to show. It is not that it's a hopeless, it's not a God-given situation. It's a man-made situation, and all man-made situation can be only corrected by human beings, not by God. And therefore, it is sheer lack of interest in those who are poor, except for political interest occasionally, but not emotionally, not spiritually. You think it's part of our scenario, somebody lying there and begging and so on. Note that government over a period of time has had a large number of intervention programs, nutrition intervention programs. Almost every plan introduces new programs. Today, for example, you have some schemes for pregnant women, and this vary from state to state. Some states give more commitment. Tamil Nadu, for example, gives 1,500 rupees per month for 6 months to a woman who has just delivered a child. The idea is to give some support for mothers feeding and so on. But this varies from state to state. So pregnant women are obviously the first starting point of nutritional support. For the reason I mentioned earlier, otherwise you have a low birth weight child, less than 2.2 kilograms, with disastrous consequences for the future of the country. Nursing mothers, there are again a number of schemes. Muthulakshmi Reddy, one of the early pioneers, introduced a scheme in Tamil Nadu. 0 to 2 children are the ones endangered, because that's when maximum brain development takes place. Unfortunately, the Integrated Child Development Service, ICDS, all the analysis has shown it doesn't reach this particular segment of children, because they have to be reached through the mother. They are not coming to a school. The very young infants have to be reached to the mother. There are also the preschool children, that is where ICDS, one of the world's largest programs, ICDS is a really remarkable program, if it is administered properly. If it is administered properly, it will be one. Then the youth going to school, a universal noon meal program has come. Noon meal, again, good, bad and indifferent. Some states take more interest. Only 2 days ago I saw in Hyderabad, the Nandi Foundation, Anji Reddy's group, has developed a very interesting private-public partnership in terms of providing additional support than what government gives. If government gives 1 rupee per day or whatever it is, the corporate sector, the private sector, everybody are joined together, supplemented the food and ensured that the child has really safe, nutritious food and so on. I hope all corporate sector will have a commitment. If they want to give social responsibility in the corporate sector, I'll put my money first in the children, in the feeding of the children, because that is the future of the country. We build up the future by children. Youth and out of school, there's no particular program today, because a lot of push out from the system, particularly girl child, is not a dropout. It's very wrong in our dictionary. We have to eradicate this term dropout, because nobody wants to drop out. They are all push out of the scheme for economic or social reasons. Adults, there is this National Rural Employment Guarantee Program now, which is really a residuary employment, because it's unskilled work. It's unskilled work. You will remain poor as long as you are unskilled. It's only a paradigm shift from unskilled to skilled work makes you come out of the poverty line. Old and infirm persons, there are some schemes, not enough. Now there is going to be a legislation also. Now the importance, since there are a large number of diplomats here, I was rather impressed when Robert Gates, the present Defense Secretary of the United States, he gave a lecture. He was then the president of the A&M University of Texas. He gave the World Food Day lecture on October 16th last year at Des Moines in Iowa. It was just before, I think 2 weeks before he became the Defense Secretary. And one of the points he made was CIA has excellent data. What they monitor the food situation all over the world, CIA, because generally hunger hotspots also coincide with trouble spots. There is a large, it is a hungry person. This is what Roman philosopher Seneca said over 2,000 years ago. A hungry person listens neither to religion nor to reason, nor is bent by any prayer. He wants food. He can't be telling him prayer and all that. So I think he rightly said that CIA monitors the status of crop production in different parts of the world, since potential hunger hotspots are also breeding grounds for civilian unrest and also for... Today in our country, farmer means is somebody who commits suicide and so on. In spite of my best efforts, because Mr. Ambassador Rajan mentioned it, that's why there is some investiture going on today. Been trying and wrote last year as Chairman of the National Commission of Farmers to the central government, to all the chief ministers, at least on the 60th anniversary of our independence. You go on quoting Nehru, everything else can wait but not agriculture. Give 7 or 8 good farmers all over the country. They constitute 70% of your population. Some Padma Award. Even by mistake, none. I have no objection for musicians and Bollywood, everybody getting award, industrialists. But you can't, this is a mindset. What I'm telling young people is, unless your mindset changes, farmer is somebody who is not serving this country. No, last 20 years there will be no Padma Award, anything of any farmer. How do you neglect 70% in the 60th anniversary of your independence? In spite of writing to every one of them, do something about it, they don't do. I think that mindset first has changed if you have to become hunger-free India, because ultimately all ideas come from the mind, and that's why I showed it. Mahatma Gandhi, when he was a barrister in law, you and I, if we had a London barrister, we will add some more also which we don't have. But when he went to a visitor's book in the National Dairy Institute at Karnal, he wrote his occupation as farmer. He wrote his occupation as a farmer from Porbandar. The address is all, and